I got to gaff a short film. It is a Viking short film. It was so cool, great experience. And by the time you're seeing this now, it is out. It is officially out. It's called Bringer of Light. Go see it. If you haven't seen it, there's a link in the description to it. Go check it out. An amazing film. Really, really talented team, and I loved working on this. Today I'm going to be going over the stills and walking you guys through the lighting. I did this a couple months ago, I guess, for you guys now. And now I'd like to do it again. Show you guys what was going through my head as the gaffer on Bringer of Light. So you can see this is our first still. If you've seen the movie, then you know that this is the scene where these nuns and the abbot, the monks, the nuns, are gathering in this abbey. They're praying. They're about to be attacked by these Vikings. It's this very dramatic scene. I was going for a John Wick 4 chapel look, ironically. So I'll pull up a picture of that. You guys can see. This is the look I was going for. Didn't end up going for that at all, and I'll tell you why. We were going for a night scene, obviously. Okay, so John Wick, that chapel scene is in the day, but also we were really wanting to blow out moonlight and really make it look like there was moonlight coming in from every direction, a little bit brighter of an image and a little bit less dramatic. And unfortunately, so we were shooting this in the day, and you can see kind of back here, there is actually a window behind these guys, and we actually blocked that out with trash bags. We trash bagged it from the outside, so there is no light coming in from those. There's also windows off to the side here, kind of a little bit past camera, and also here there's a little alcove with a window in it. So we blacked out these windows right here, and we did not black out this window right here. So, and I'll tell you why. We spent a while trying to figure this out. And initially, we actually had so many fixtures. We were blasting them through all these windows. We had 60 Ds on these two windows, 60 Ds on these two windows. We had 600 Ds on the far back window. It was all blasting in. I had nan lights. We had two nan light 200s coming in from these windows as well. So we were blasting a lot of light in. And unfortunately, since we were shooting in the day, none of these could overpower the sun. And it still looked like it was daytime, even though we had CTBs in front of the every single one of these fixtures. So the solution that we ended up coming up with was to black out all the windows except this far right one here. And we ended up getting the entire window. We put a CTB, I believe it was half CTB gel, over the entire window. So even the sunlight coming through looked like moonlight. And then we put a 600D coming in from that window to kind of punch up the sunlight. So most of this light on the abbot's face right here and the light coming in on these guys' faces is coming from the 600D. Our art department was incredible on this, and they put these candles here and here, as well as the candles being used by the nuns themselves and the monks. I keep forgetting monks, that's what their name is, it's a monk. But our art department was incredible on this. They put the candles on, it was great, and it gave a little bit of contrast. So what I ended up doing was, behind the camera, I did end up having an Amaran tube that was set to a fire flicker to kind of bring up this area right here. So this was just punching them up just a little bit. We were shooting on a Sony, which is beautiful in low light, so I didn't have to bring them up very much. The candlelight actually did a lot of the work for us, but I just wanted to give a little bit of fire spread on their faces, just a little bit more to help bring them up. Also, we did black out all of the windows. We were shooting in an old, I believe it was an Episcopal church, that had some incredible glass windows that were lining the sanctuary. And we blacked out all of those with trash bags. So my incredible grip team put up those trash bags. They were great, worked very hard for probably 30, 45 minutes just blacking out these trash bags. I helped him out a little bit. We ended up climbing onto the roof because there were some windows that were up too high for us to be able to get on the ground. So I ended up going up on the roof, and one of my grips, Ryan, ended up going on the roof as well. I ended up getting stuck up there, and we had to get a climbing harness and a rope to help get me down. But that's a story for another time. Moving on, we have this shot from almost the last minute of the film. This is the evil brother sitting on his throne. It's a very, very dark image. If you can't tell, this is a green screen shot. So all this guy right here and what he's sitting on was comped into this background here by our great visual effects artist, Emmett, for this. So I had nothing to do with pretty much 90% of this image right here. It was just this spot right here that I had to do lighting for. We were on a green screen, so what I ended up doing was I got we had two Nanlite 200s that I lit the green screen with. We had them softboxes over them, and that gave us a good, nice even light. We ended up working with the camera department with false color, and they would turn on false color on the monitors for us, and we'd be able to see how evenly the green screen was lit and adjust accordingly. So we were able to do all of that with just our Nanlite 200s and get a very, very flat and even green screen, which is what you want to end up doing. And then you want to light your subject separately of the green screen. So the green screen was lit with two Nanlites, and then our subject here, I had one of these 600Ds. We ended up putting an orange gel over the 600D as well as a softbox. So we had the gel kind of wedged into the softbox. So it was giving this nice key. Put a 600D for aperture 600D. And it's kind of coming in on his face here. I had an Amaran tube down here. We'll do a tube, bringing up this bottom area of his legs, just kind of bringing him out of complete darkness. And then another Amaran tube on a chair. Actually, we just placed it on a chair, sitting right here. We didn't have a ton of great mounting options. And so we ended up just putting it on a chair because it worked out that way. So overall, not too terrible. And then we have the Nanlites, obviously, for the green screen here. Overall, not a terrible setup. Didn't take us too long. This was just one shot, and we did a lot of setup for just this one shot. We actually had three green screen shots in the entire film. So that once we lit the green screen, it was fine, but then there was definitely a period of relighting for every green screen shot, because we had this one, which was a very dark and moody one, and then we had two that were supposed to be on a boat, and so we had to kind of change the look up for a little bit of that, having harsh sunlight coming on them while also maintaining a look. Unfortunately, I didn't have a ton of knowledge of what this was going to look like. We had a couple of the assets that were sent to us for what that green screen was going to look like, and I was in talks with our VFX guy, Emmett, about generally the look that they were going for, but I didn't know the exact look, and so I was just having to go off of what I was being told the final product in the background was going to look like in post. All right, moving on, we have one that I honestly kind of wish I had done differently. So here you can see Halkin, the main character, is laying in bed. He's wounded. And unfortunately, in this case, I did not think about color theory at all when lighting this shot. And so you can see very, very clearly what lights were where. So I had a 600D with a quarter CTB on it that was coming in from the window, which was kind of up in this area, and it was coming in rays. We had haze, and in some of the other shots you can actually see the exact rays that it's kind of coming in, excuse me, I think I misspoke earlier. I had a quarter CTO, not a quarter CTB, so an orange gel quarter over the 600D, so it's just giving a little bit warmer than daylight, but not too much. So this is coming in, hitting our actor. Unfortunately, the sunlight came in and mixed also with that, and the sunlight is 5600 Kelvin, which is daylight, which is what the 600D would be giving off if I had not put the quarter CTO in front of it. So unfortunately, we had that mixing in, as well as one of the Amaran tubes. Then I had vertical here that was coming in on Hauken's face, and that, I believe, judging by what I'm looking at, was set to somewhere between 3600 and probably 4200 Kelvin, so a lot warmer than either the 600D with the quarter CTO on it or daylight. So I had pretty much 3 different color temperatures going on here that really caused a conflicting look. So you can see kind of in this area down here on the pillow is a very warm light, and it's very obvious that there's a light here because that light color doesn't match with the daylight look, which is mostly on Hauken's face here. The 600D is not doing a ton in this particular image. It did a lot in the scene. It's mostly on the Abbott in this scene. So thankfully that didn't entirely clash, but there is a little bit of spill if you kind of look. There's a little bit of spill in the quarter CTO in front. That it's just 3 different color temperatures that are clashing in this scene that cause it to look, just from my eye, not the best. But I think the shot itself is still great. I think the scene is really powerful. But if I had to go back and do it all over again, I would have definitely paid more attention to color theory. Lastly, this is the climax of the film. It's the final battle. Hauken has now killed 2 of the Vikings and wounded another, and now they're kind of at this truce. It's this tense moment, and it is a night exterior, which I love. Now, there are also a few things that I would have done differently on this, but I can also attribute it to, the mistakes that I made to just style and a style difference. Would I go back and light this slightly differently? Yes. Do I think it turned out really well? Also yes. So we have the torch light here, which is really lighting up a ton of our image right here. So we've got torch light coming in here and kind of in the middle of our image here, and it's also on the ground here. That I actually did nothing. That is purely the torch light. There is nothing else that is lighting for that. And then we had 4 lights for our moon in this scene. We had 2 of our 600Ds and 2 Nanlite 200Bs on the top of the hill. So if you can kind of see, there starts to be kind of an upward hill right here that keeps going. And so we put the aperture and the Nanlites at the top of that hill, and they are kind of shining down at about this angle. Ooh. So we had a lot of firepower going here, and a lot of brightness. Unfortunately, and here's what I would have done differently, all this in the background here is lost. Now, there was a little bit of a moment of, okay, well, there's nothing we can do about that, and I'll tell you why. There was a pond right about where it falls off here. There's a pond that kind of went, that's about the outline of the pond right here. It's kind of like a little rhombus, right? That was going to be lost no matter what, because it's water, and you can't really light water super well unless you have super bright lights, and we just didn't. We had a 600D, which is bright, but it wasn't quite bright enough. So that area would have been lost no matter what, and I'm not worried about that. What I am more worried about is this area up top. This was all tree line, and I could have done something about it. What ended up happening was I think both of our Nan lights were actually pointing so far this way that they ended up going pointing to areas that were off camera, that were behind the camera, that didn't really matter. And I really wish I had repurposed those 200s to be keying our subjects here, and then taken the 600s, which are more powerful, and lit up the tree line. And I think I could have done something really well with that. Again, I still like how it turned out. I think it turned out really great. I just think that I could have made the moonlight look a little bit bigger and less just, it looks like one source right here that's kind of hitting the whole area, and it doesn't look like moonlight, it just looks like a light. And that is coming from me. I'm hypercritical. I still think it looks great. But again, would have done that a little bit differently. So anyways, we had 4 lights on this scene. For some of the close-ups, we used tubes to mimic the firelight. And then I think for one of the close-ups, our special effects team just came in with the torches and just held the torches there for the close-ups to kind of give that fire look on his face. Overall, though, I am really, really happy with how Bringer of Light turned out. If you're seeing this, it has likely made its festival runs because now it's out. It's out on YouTube. So yeah, go check it out. Give it your support. Give it a like. Tell them that I sent you if you want to. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy this, please like and then comment that you like it. Because sometimes I do videos and then nobody comments that they like it, and I'm not sure whether I should do another one. So let me know if you do, and I'll do another one. If you did enjoy, subscribe maybe. And if you want to see more of this type of stuff, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.